Alright, let's look at graphing linear equations. We're gonna graph them several different ways. So let's look at the first one, y equals 2x plus 3. Now one way that we can graph these things is we can make an XY table. So what we do here is we just choose values for x. We can pick any value we want. So let's just pick some easy ones. We'll pick 0, 1, and 2. So these are the x values we choose, and what we're going to do is we're going to plug these x values in for x to get our y value. So here we would get y equals 2 times 0 plus 3, which equals 3. So there's the y coordinate, and then we plug 1 in, so we get y equals 2 times 1 plus 3. So we get 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5. And then we're going to plug 2 in. We get y equals 2 times 2 plus 3. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7. And so we get the point 27. So what we want to do now is we want to plot these points. We have the point 0, 3, 1, 5, and 2, 7. So let's come over here and let's graph it. We're going to plot our first point, 0, 3. So we're at 0, and then we go up to 3. So there's 1 point. Then we plot the point 1, 5. And so we go over 1 and up 5. There's our next point. And then we want to plot the point 2, 7. And so we plot the point 2, 7. And there's our third point. And then we draw our line through the points. And there's the graph of your line. Alright, let's take a look at another one and graph it this way. We have y equals 2/3 x minus 2. And we're going to graph it the same way. We're going to make up an XY table. We're going to choose values for x, and we can pick any value we want. So I'm going to choose 0, and then I could choose 1. But if I choose 1, then I have 2/3 times x minus 2. I'm going to have a fraction as an answer. So what I want to do is pick something that will get rid of the 3 here. So I'm going to choose 3 and maybe -3. You could choose 6 and -6 if you want to, or 9 and -9, but I'm just going to choose 3 and -3 just to keep the numbers small. Okay, so I get here, when I plug 0 in, I get y equals 2/3 times 0 minus 2, and so that's going to give me 0 minus 2 is -2. And then I'm going to plug 3 in, so I get y equals 2/3 times 3 minus 2. And you see the 3's cancel here, so I'm left with 2 minus 2, and that equals 0. So I have the point 3, 0. Then I'm going to plug in -3. Y equals 2/3 times -3 minus 2. So the 3's cancel. I'm left with -1. So that's -2 minus 2, which equals -4. And you can see I have my points. So I'm going to plot the point 0, -2. So I have 0, -2, and I'm going to graph it on the same coordinate system. And then I have 3, 0. So I plot the point 3, 0. And then I'm going to plot the point -3, -4. -3, -4. And that point's right there. So I'm going to connect the points. and there's my graph. Okay, so that's one way that we can graph them, is just make an XY table, choose any values you want for X, plug them in. I would recommend choosing something small. Alright, now let's take a look at another one. We can also graph by finding the X and Y intercepts. So let's use this problem here, 2x plus 3y equals 6, and let's find the X and Y intercept. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find the X intercept. Okay, and the way you find the X intercept is you let y equal 0. So I'm going to plug 0 in for y, so that gives me 2x plus 3 times 0 equals 6. And then I solve for x. So I get 2x plus 0 equals 6, or 2x equal 6. Divide by 2, I get x equal 3. So this gives me the point 3. There's my x value, 3, and my y value was 0. Then I'm going to find the y-intercept. And to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0. So I'm going to plug 0 in for x, so I get 2 times 0 plus 3y equal 6. So I get 0 plus 3y equals 6. 3y equals 6. Divide by 3, I get y equals 2. So now I have the point. My x coordinate is 0. My y coordinate is 2. So this gives me the point 0, 2. Now I'm going to plot both points. So I plot the point 3, 0 first. So I plot the point 3, 0. And then I'm going to plot the point 0, 2. So I'll plot the point 0, 2. And it's right there. And then I draw my line, connect the points, and there's the graph. Sorry, the line's not straight. So that's another method to do it. Another way we can graph, let's graph using this equation here, y equals negative 3/2 x minus 3. Now notice this is in the form y equals mx plus b. My slope is m. That's the number in front of x. My y-intercept is the point 0, b. Whatever this number is, 0 and whatever this number is. So in this problem, you can see that my slope is equal to negative 3/2, and my y-intercept is the point 0, and then here's my b, negative 3. Now, what I want to do is I want to plot this point 0, negative 3. So let's come over here and plot the point 0, negative 3. And there's that point. Now, this slope here, this negative sign, I can put it up here with the 3, or I can put it down here with the 2. Let's just put it as 3 over negative 2. And like I said, it doesn't matter which one you put it on. It's all going to be the same. You'll get the same line. Now, the slope is the rise over the run. So this top number, the 3, tells me how to move on the y-axis. Since it's positive, that means I move up on the y-axis. If it were negative, I would move down. The run tells me how I move on the x-axis. So if it's positive, I move to the right. If it's negative, I move to the left. So when we graph this, we go to our point 0, -3, which we just plotted, and this rise tells me to go up 3, and the run tells me to go to the left -2. So let's go ahead and plot that. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go up 3, and so that'll take me to 0 and to the left 2, and there's a point. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go up 3 and over 2, and there's my other point. And then I can connect the points. Goes back up this way, and there's my graph. That's using the y-intercept and the slope. The slope is rise over run, and you see that we used the slope to be 3 over -2. Now I could have also used -3 over +2. Let's see what that would have done. If I would have used this, see, if I start here at this point, that means I go down 3, so that takes me to the -6, and to the left 2. And you can see if I extended this line, that point would be included. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't matter where the negative is. You can put it in the numerator or the denominator. Alright, let's look at another graph. Let's take the graph y equals 3. So let's come over here, and we want to graph y equals 3. Now whenever you have y equals a number, this is going to be a horizontal line going through that y value. So the graph of this is just a horizontal line going through where y equals 3. And then the other problem, x equal -2, anytime you have x equals a number, and in this case we have x equal -2, that's a vertical line, and it goes through where x is -2. So there's the graph of x equal -2. It's a vertical line. Now these methods that I used, you can use any of these methods on any of the problems. For this problem, I could have used rise over run. I could have found the x and y intercept. Same thing here, rise over run, and I could have found the x and y intercept. You just have to look at the problems and decide, well, which way is going to be the easiest to graph, and then just use that method. And the way to do that, it just takes practice. You'll have to do your homework and practice working the problems, and then you'll be able to decide which method. And on these, when I found the x and y intercept, I could have plotted points, or I could have used rise over run. If I wanted to use rise over run on this one, I would have to solve for y first. Okay, I would solve for y. In this one, I could use a table, or I could find the x and y intercept. I hope this video helped. Thanks.